right. Well, let's get into our last segment of the show. Sean and I put this together. It's a little game that we call. What's this game called, Sean?
It's called the Ambiguously Split Duo.
All right.
So what we're doing here, guys, and I am a child of the 90s, so for me, this is one of my favorite skits growing up from Saturday Night Live, and we decided to put our fantasy spin on it. You guys know how we do. So we have a nice little segment here called the Ambiguously Split Duos that we are going to run through for you guys, and this is basically backfield oriented. So this is going to be the backfields that you are, just like us, the most concerned about. Let's roll, Scotty. What do you think?
Let's do it.
First up, out of our Ambiguously Split Duo, Ramondre Stevenson and Travion Henderson. All right, guys. Scotty, let's start with you, buddy. Who out of these two becomes the man?
Okay, so everyone knows my Travion Henderson love, even though he's a Buckeye. I think in the long run, it's going to be Travion Henderson. So I think in the beginning, Mike Vrabel being like a veteran guy, he's going to run out creaky old Ramondre Stevenson. And I think what's going to end up happening is by week, I'd say 7 or 8, it will be more of like a 70-30 Henderson split. So I think off the bat, it'll be 50-50 and then more 70-30 by midway point through the year. So wheels up on Travion Henderson. We've seen in drafts, obviously Travion going before Ramondre. So I think that's pretty easy for me. What about you, Dennis?
Yeah, I agree wholeheartedly. But one of the strategies that I love is to draft them both. And you can get Ramondre pretty doggone cheap. So why not grab them both? I asked a question at the expo, I like to handcuff my own guys, tell me why I'm right or wrong. And they said, well, it limits your upside. Okay, I don't care about limiting my upside. I want to have viable running backs for the fantasy football playoffs when I want to collect money.
It also raises your floor.
Yeah, it certainly does. I like, hey, I buy car insurance. That isn't upside, but it protects me in case something really stupid happens. And that's what it looks like here. I do think it's going to start off as a 60-40 split. I wouldn't be surprised to see it stay a 60-40 split. Ramondre Stevenson, man, he's 27 years old. He ain't ancient, guys, and he's got some pop. But they brought Travion Henderson in to be the guy. And I think he has the possibility to be that guy. And I have a feeling he's going to be a very fantasy football viable guy, even with a 60-40 split with 60 in his favor.
What about you, Sean?
So in my opinion, guys, I think this is the one that to me leans way, way, way more towards the rookie than most of these scenarios. And the reason I say that is because Travion Henderson is the only one that out of this backfield that was drafted by this actual regime. Ramondre is a holdover, and they brought this kid in on purpose. Like, it wasn't an accident. I mean, they really made an effort to make sure they got a hold of this kid. And I think they really saw something between him and Drake May in their backfield, having that kind of almost that option game, kind of, early Lamar almost, right? Because Drake has that ability to scare you with his legs too. So all you need to do is just kind of, actually, I should just say early Josh, because that's pretty much what they did with Josh a lot when he first really became the Josh that we know, is a lot of that, like, play action, boom, and just nailing people. So, that's kind of what I could see with Travion and Drake. And I think that in the long run, I think Scott's right. I don't even think it starts out 50-50. I think it starts out Travion is already ahead of Ramondre. I just think that they brought him in for a reason. They're going to lean into it. They're going to see what they've got with him, and they want to move forward. Running back is not a position that you take your time. You find out as soon as you can on a rookie deal whether this is a guy worth paying for a second contract or not.
Cool. All right, who's next?
All right, next up in our Ambiguously Split Duo, we have Caleb Johnson and Jalen Warren sticking it out in the Pittsburgh backfield. So what do you think, Scotty boy? Who is your man? This is one that actually could be considered a lot more 50-50 than the one we just went over.
Okay, I hate that offense, period.
I
But
knew you were going to say that.
but like I said, having those two in there, I think Jalen Warren is just a little too light to be a full bell cow in that offense. I think he'll definitely be the passing down back, but I think they brought Caleb Johnson in to run between the tackles. He did it really good at Iowa. So like I said, I'm not crazy about the offense, but I could see him definitely getting about 250 carries for the year. Jalen Warren, like I said, will still win the passing game, passing work, and Caleb Johnson can catch the ball. It's not like has hands of stone or anything like that. But to start off, I think Caleb's going to start off with most of the first and second down work, and Jalen will come in on third down and maybe hurry up. But they definitely brought him in to groom him as being a bell cow. So I think Caleb's the guy that you want.
Totally agree. Dennis, are you on the same boat?
Only to add that Arthur Smith hates us fantasy football players.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
We hate him too.
He's going to split everything. You know, Caleb Johnson could go, all the way down the field, be the more viable goal line back, and yet Jalen Warren will come in.
I think he's going to find a way to actually have him run all the way to the 2-yard line, stop, turn around, hand the ball to the other guy, and let him be the one to run it across the goal line on a regular basis just to mess with us.
Well, it's also possible. It's also possible that they'll get down to the end zone, and all of a sudden they'll line up with 4 tight ends in the backfield, and all of a sudden it'll all go. Now, all kidding aside, guys, I think this is the 20. If you look at the 2023 split between Najee Harris and Jalen Warren, that's what we're going to see this year.
I agree. That's what I was going to say too, and I'm glad that you finished on that note because that's exactly where I was headed. Was the same exact thing you just said. Is, in my opinion, it's basically the same exact backfield. You just take out Najee, put in Caleb, and it's the same exact conversation. That's basically where we're at, in my opinion, which means that they're both going to be viable players as long as that offense can be productive.
And here's the added thing. Here's the one added thing. They picked up Gainwell to do something in the passing game as well. Again, Arthur Smith hates us, so he'll get down the field, and then Gainwell will come in and go 3 carries for -1 yard, and then they'll kick a field goal. Who knows? But no.
Didn't they have like an offensive formation back in the day that had 3 running backs, like a T-wing or something? Crazy like that, right?
They'll line up the entire tight end group. They'll have 5 tight ends in the game, and Jonnu Smith will get the carry. Who knows? Yeah, they'll do something weird. That's the one thing.
Caleb Johnson will be under center and handing it off to the tight end.
Yeah, or to the left tackle. Who knows? I mean, it's Arthur Smith. He hates fantasy football players, so he will find a way to curse us.
That's why I love the nickname Arthur Smith. It's like so perfect for him. All right. So next up on our ambiguously split duos. I love it when you do that, Scott. It's the best. We have Tony Pollard and Tajay Spears. Actually, I should say Tajay Spears. So, Scotty, where are you at on these two guys? I know exactly where I'm at, but I want to see what you think.
I'm going to throw this to Dennis. I want to hear what Dennis says first.
Last year, Pollard was hurt all season, played through injury all season. Tony Pollard's going to own this backfield. Now, the question is, how good is that offense? I actually think Cam Ward's going to be better than a lot of folks giving him credit. I think they're going to have a decent, notice I said decent, competent NFL offense, and that makes Tony Pollard an absolute steal in fantasy football this year.
Yeah, no, I'll piggyback off that. Spears is already hurt. And yeah, Pollard played pretty banged up last year. The offense was terrible last year. And yeah, that's why I wanted to let Dennis go first. I figured he would go in the Pollard direction. I think it's just going to be a better run offense. You got a somewhat deep, capable quarterback coming in. And I think Pollard's a pretty good steal. And I'm actually pissed because I didn't get any Pollard in any of my triathlon leagues because people were sniping me. So
I
I
can
was
tell you right now that Sarah has been on the Pollard train on the last few drafts, and for some dang reason, I've been stuck right next to her. And every single time, I'm like, "Oh yeah, I'll be able to get." Nope, never mind. There he goes, right ahead of me with Sarah's pick. So it's been happening consistently.
It was almost like you had to jump around early just to grab them. So,
and if you did it early on, you were getting them at a great deal. Because in the very beginning of the season of the draft season, best ball time and early dynasty times and startup stuff like that, you were getting a good deal on Pollard because people were still kind of like hating on him for exactly what Dennis just talked about, him being hurt last season, and people kind of just forgetting that he was hurt and playing through an injury most of the year, and just kind of being like, oh, he's just not as good. This is why he was a problem in Dallas. Dallas was the same thing. The man's been fighting through injury for quite a while now, and he's still being extremely productive for an injury-plagued situation. So, if you give this man a healthy season, then like you just said, and Taj is already hurt. So if he comes into the season gimpy and Tony's healthy and Tony can do what Tony does, I think Tony will prove that he is the man that should be the 70-30 in this backfield.
Got you. All right.
All right, moving on to our ambiguously split duos. J.K. Dobbins and R.J. Harvey, 2 initials. What do you guys think about this one? Dennis, give me some love.
Ooh, this is a tough backfield. And you add in the fact that, Jaleel McLaughlin isn't a stiff when it comes to the passing game because he's really good at pass pro. So they like him in that backfield. This could be a 3-way split of some of the stuff because I think Dobbins will get run out there quite a bit. They didn't draft Harvey to sit him on the bench. But boy, this is one that until Dobbins breaks down, I don't know if I have the guts to put R.J. Harvey in a redraft lineup early. I have quite a bit of Harvey in Dynasty. From rookie drafts, he was going pretty cheap. And I really like the player. Don't like the ambiguously split duos situation that he's got to face right now because it could be more than a 2-way split as far as some of that goes. There's a lot of talent in that Denver running back room.
I agree. And if Arthur Sith is Darth Vader, then Sean Payton is Senator Palpatine. I'm telling you right now, because Sean Payton is 5 times worse than Arthur Smith is when it comes to screwing with fantasy players and his running back scenario. If he didn't have a guy like Alvin Kamara for so long to force his hand, he would have just been playing with us for decades. So we're basically sitting here just at the mercy of whatever Sean decides to do that day. And I think that the running backs kind of feel the same way. I think they don't wake up in the morning knowing exactly what they're going to be in as far as first, second, or third in the lineup. They're just basically waiting to see what Sean says in the morning. What do you think, Scotty?
I think this is so easy. It's so easy. It's right in front of our faces. I can't believe people aren't seeing this. So I took a lot of R.J. Harvey, but the minute J.K. Dobbins was signed, any team I had Harvey on, I went and picked up Dobbins. And I look in the history and I say, okay, what is Sean Payton? What did he do in New Orleans? He had Alvin Kamara, a.k.a. R.J. Harvey, and he had Mark Ingram, a.k.a. J.K. Dobbins. So I think it's going to be pretty much a 50-50 split. You're going to have J.K. Dobbins doing all the heavy lifting and pounding the goal line, and you're going to have R.J. Harvey on third down, on second and long, on hurry up. I think it's
smash and dash, right?
Little smash. He's going to do the little, like I said, when he was back in New Orleans doing the. I think they had a name back in New Orleans for those two.
They did. I can't remember what they called them.
I don't remember what it was.
Mark Ingram coined it because he was one of the best guys ever on the mic, man. I loved hearing his press conferences. Every time he scored a touchdown, it'd be so exciting because I knew I'd get a Mark Ingram press conference.
Yeah, so I think that's going to be one of those backfields where both guys are going to have standalone value. I
agree. I think they're both going to be solid players, man. And I really do think that they brought in JK for a reason, so I don't think they want to run Harvey to that level, and that's why they did it. So, he'll start out the man, and like you said earlier, I think this is exactly what happens. JK starts out the man, and then RJ ends up taking over, but it will still be like a 60-40 at worst.
Got it.
So next up on our ambiguously split duos. Ooh, this is one of my favorites. Kenneth Walker and Zach Charbonnet up there in the Pacific Northwest where they don't even know there is a thing called a sun. What do you guys think about this one?
Okay, I'll run at this one first. So I'm going to look at this. I got a Wolverine and I ap a Buckeye. So
that's where he goes with it.
On one hand, you got a Buckeye that can't stay healthy. When he's on the field, he's tremendous. And you got a Wolverine that's pretty healthy for the most part, pretty much a grinder, but he can catch the ball out of the backfield. And when Walker's been out, Mr. Charbonnet has been an RB1 when he's been in the offense. So I think Walker is not going to be able to stay healthy throughout the year. So I think, and this is kind of a hot take, but I think Zach Charbonnet will outproduce Kenneth Walker by the end of the year.
Woo! I'll pub sub you on that one.
Jimmy, write this down in your hot takes. It's a hot take. It's not a bet. It's a hot take.
Oh, you won't bet it though? You'll say it, but you won't bet it.
It's a hot take.
Okay. I'll let it be a hot take this week, but I might push the issue as we get closer to the season.
Dennis, can you back me up at all?
Well, here's the thing. When you look at my MVP index, Charbonnet was only about a 10% drop off from Walker. And that's very small because usually there's more of a 30 to 40% drop off between the starter and the backup. So I think it's a combo that I'm betting on because you can get them like third round and ninth round. Why not protect yourself? Because Walker's lately has been missing like 3 games a year. So you got to plug and play with Charbonnet and you're guaranteed. Now, the only thing I will say is with all the changes with the Seattle offense, are they going to be as good as they were in the past? That's the only question mark of this duo. But Kenneth Walker's definitely going to be the man that's going to get the heavy load for as long as he can stay healthy. And Charbonnet will be that change of pace and maybe some third down work. So both have some use. And if Walker goes down, I'm playing the Charbonnet because it's nice and sweet.
Hey, you know what? I don't trust anybody whose name is Zach spelled with a CH. So I'm all about Kenneth Walker. I'm leaning in that direction all day of the week. No, I'm just kidding. I do like Kenneth Walker though. I do. I think he's the better back. I think he's the more talented back. I like Charbonnet, but I think Charbonnet's a little bit more of a plotter. So I think Walker's kind of got that explosiveness that Sharp's just missing. So I always lean Walker as long as he stays healthy. I think Walker becomes the bell cow in that offense. And if he stays healthy, Walker has potential for a top 5 season.
Now here's the factor that could cause some issues. If Walker goes down, does the rookie get a shot?
Exactly.
That's my big concern here going forward. That's the only, again, guys, this is how you play fantasy football from a scientific standpoint. You're always asking the what ifs because you cannot just assume because last year Charbonnet was, only 10% less than Walker and he was the plug and play. You can't assume that stays the same each and every year. We know what it was in 24. In 25, it could be very different.
Absolutely.
Gotcha.
All right. So I feel like we are at a certain point of our ambiguously split duos where we run into a new scenario. And we're going to find out here in just a second when I hit this button. So let's see who our next up is. Nope. It's one more group. We got Tyrone Tracy and Cam Scattaboo. All right, guys. So this is one that actually is really like, potentially, up in the air, I am going to lean towards the Rook, man. I think the Rook's just a better all-around talent. I like Tyrone, but I think Cam is just a better talent. And he's got that kind of grit and that kind of just ability and that style about him that I think kind of like, resonates well with teammates and stuff and makes him want to like, just fight that much harder. So, I think Scadaboo will eventually become the man, but I still think they're going to be so close to 50-50 throughout the year that it really won't make much of a difference as far as that. I think they're both going to be, mid-level RB3s. What do you think, Scotty?
I don't know. I hate this backfield. I mean, I hate this offense. I think Tracy's just because he's been there, he's going to get the look, but he can't hang on to the ball. Scadaboo is, what's going to end up happening? The first play that Scadaboo runs somebody over, the crowd's going to go ballistic. And then the New York papers it's all going to be, oh, Scadaboo needs to be the number one or Scadaboo needs to be this. So I just think it's going to be, first, it's like I said, it's going to be a terrible offense. So they're going to be behind in games. And, it might get Scadaboo on the field a little bit more because of his receiving chops. But I don't know. I just don't like this backfield at all. I think it'll be kind of like a 60-40, maybe Tracy, maybe 50-50 down the road. But like I said, I hate this backfield.
Dennis, you agree or disagree?
I love this opportunity. Because Scadaboo's cheap. Okay. Here's the thing, guys. This offense is questionable at best. But last year they sucked. Okay. And Tyrone Tracy was actually useful as a flex starter. Tracy is a former wide receiver from Purdue. At least that's where he ended his career, thanks to a somewhat modest NIL money that brought him into town. Good ball player, but at this time last year, everybody was like, oh, this is Singletary's job. And Tracy took it away. Scadaboo's going to take this job away. I didn't really like this kid originally coming out of college. I was like, I don't see what the buzz is about him. The more I see this guy, he just falls forward for 2 or 3 yards. And, different body type, whole different runner. But the last guy that I saw in the NFL that had that tendency that every time he got tackled in college, Kyron Williams fell for another yard or two. Like he just did. And we're looking at a totally different body type on Scadaboo, but he does the same thing. Like he's so tough to tackle and he gets you that extra yard and a half, 2 yards. That's going to be resulting in more touchdowns. Tracy he was not very efficient inside the 5 last year. And I think that's going to change with Scadaboo. So this offense, it can't be worse than last year. The Giants sucked. Like the Giants sucked so bad. They had to come up with a new word because sucked didn't get it all.
They did. It was called Giants.
That's Giants. Yeah. And I feel sorry for Giants fans. No, I don't. That's a lie. But no, Scadaboo is just, again, he was this guy that I didn't really like all that much. Then he fell to the second round in rookie drafts. And I'm like, yeah, I'm going to take this guy. And I same thing in drafts now, redraft. He's going like 9th round, 10th round. I got him in the 11th in one redraft. I'm like, you're going to keep letting him fall in one quarterback leagues. I'm going to take him because even on a bad team, if he gets 300 touches, even on a bad team, some of those touches are going to be out of the backfield. And I play a lot of PPR. So I kind of like his skill set in a bad offense because he doesn't need to do it between the tackles being handed the ball. He can get 3 to 5 catches a game and really give you a solid floor. No, I'm not looking at him as my RB2 starting every week, but I'm looking at him as a cheap depth play from 9th round on. And I've seen him drop even I've seen them drop into the double digits. So I like this backfield because it's opportunity. I don't love the Giants offense, but opportunity is opportunity.
I love it. All right, so our next group now. I know we're getting into our skewed duo. All right, so let's talk about that a little bit here. You guys are gonna like this one, I think. So you guys know before I do this, Scott nor Dennis has absolutely no idea how I played this out in my little game that I built. So this is gonna be fun for all of us. I'm excited. The next ambiguously split duo, I love it, is Aaron Jones and Jordan Mason, which does not have the actual split yet. So we'll wait till the next slide. But this one, it is these two only. It's Aaron Jones and Jordan Mason. I forgot we have one more. Okay, I'm sorry.
Oh, jeez. Well, we'll run through these real quick. We'll run through these real quick then. So
we have three more after this, Scotty.
I think this is going to be pretty much just an even split going down the middle. I know with Minnesota getting not having I'm drawing a blank here, Addison for the suspension for the first 3 weeks. There's been talks they've been splitting Aaron Jones out wide, which he did do in Green Bay. So I think that Jordan Mason and Aaron Jones could be a true 50-50 split going down the middle. So I'll leave it at that. What about you, Dennis?
I think this is Aaron Jones's backfield. I think Jordan Mason will get used because they don't want to run the old guy into the ground. But Jones is so versatile. And Jordan Mason has been fighting injuries every year he's been in the league. So I'm not sure that I'd anoint him as automatically being a 50-50 split here. I could be definitely wrong. I admit that, but I like Aaron Jones. I think he's going to get the bulk of the carries when they matter. I think Mason will be sort of a change of pace back, but I'm looking at 2 series for Jones to 1 for Mason, and I'm looking for Jones down near the goal line. He'll be the primary guy if he's healthy. So I'm looking at Aaron Jones being, if I look at the points on a weekly basis, I think Jones gets the bulk of the split here. And I think he's a good play.
I agree.
Yeah, I think he'll get, real quick before you jump in, I think those first 3 weeks, Aaron Jones is going to be targeted a lot with receivers being out. So if you're going to play Aaron Jones, get him in your lineup for the first 3 weeks. Go ahead.
I don't think it's only the first 3 weeks. I'm with Dennis on this 100%. I won't go too crazy because I already talked about this a lot earlier. But I think Aaron Jones is the man there, and I think Mason was just brought in as protection.
And everybody's talking so much about, well, with Addison out, it's going to be T.J. Hawkinson. It's going to be more of the running game. It's going to be more passes to Aaron Jones. Naylor looked pretty damn good last year as a rookie, and they brought in Ty Felton. They're going to have, they've got wide receivers that can play this game other than Jordan Addison and Justin.
And my face cousin coaching up their quarterback, so they'll be just fine.
They'll be fine. They'll be fine.
All right. And now I almost promise you, Scott, that this one is where we're going to start getting a little frisky. On our next ambiguously split duos.
Gotta be the Jets.
We have.
Gotta be the Jets. Oh, okay.
Ooh, now, before we go crazy on this one, guys, we have Javonte Williams and Miles Sanders in our ambiguously split duo. But we have a wild card on this one, ladies and gentlemen. Do we think that the Jack in the Box field might have a say in this? J-Don Blue could potentially become the man in this backfield. I know where I stand. Scotty, I want to hear your opinion, especially because your reaction to our Jack in the Box field is very epic, and I really want to hear how you feel.
I mean, I'm not going to give you what you want because I can't stand this backfield. I mean, it's just a disaster. I mean, Miles Sanders always hurt. He plays. I feel that he's always played like half-ass and not really like gave it 100% all the time. And he's been bounced around everywhere. Jaden Blue's had some mixed stuff in camp. Some people say he's lazy. Some people said he's had a great camp. Javonte, I think he's maybe never gotten a fair shake. He's kind of came off that devastating. I mean, you guys got to remember that knee injury he had. He tore like 3 ligaments. I mean, it was awful. So it might have taken him a couple years to get past it and get back to normal. So, I mean, I kind of give the edge to Javonte. I mean, he's got some passing chops. So I'd say it would be, I'm going to go Javonte, Jaden Blue, and Miles Sanders in that order.
Ooh. Dennis, do you agree? Disagree?
I have a twist on this one.
Even more of a twist than the Jack in the Box field?
More than because you're going to need another Jack in the Box. Because I don't think that the starting running back for the Cowboys, I think there's a decent chance, guys, that he ain't on the roster right now.
Ooh.
How about
whose roster is he on?
I think he could be I'm going to throw 2 names out at you. So I'm going to throw out Travis Etienne from Jacksonville. He's kind of a Cowboys kind of guy, the guy who's got some back class that he did something once. Can he do it again? And with the signing of James Cook, why not Ray Davis?
Ooh, that's going to upset Sean.
Trade Ray
That
Davis.
is actually going to upset me a lot because Ray Davis is rocking my boy Freddie Jackson's number like a champion, and I do not want him to leave.
I love Ray Davis, but
I do too.
I think there could be a trade in the works, and I don't know who, but I wouldn't be shocked to see a trade. As far as if this trio stays, I think that was broken down perfectly. Javonte Williams has been a broken down running back. If he's healthy, we don't know what he can do. He looked good briefly when he was healthy in the past. Miles Sanders has the back class, but he's never been able to hold a job. And Jaden Blue is Jaden Blue. Like, he's another one of these rookies that, again, the Audric Estime looked great in preseason last year. What did he do for us? So I just look at this as a backfield that right now I have taken, because they are dirt cheap, I've taken combinations of 2 of the 3 on some teams, and on other teams I've totally left it alone.
Yeah, I'm in the same boat. I agree with you guys completely. I think Javonte is the man. I think if he can stay healthy, I think he really has a shot to show everybody that he can be a running back because he's very, very capable. He just needs to stay healthy. That's all. So I'm 100% with you guys on that. On our next ambiguously split duo.
Jets. Oh, there we go.
Travis Etienne Jr., surprise, surprise, and Tank Bixby. But wait, there's more. We also have a Jack in this box field by the name of Backfield Tootin. So
I love it.
Out of the 3, who is the man with the plan to take the number 1 back role? Dennis, be the first man to roll out with this one because you brought up ETN already. So I want to see how you think. Obviously, does that mean that ETN is not the man here, or if he stays, is he still the man?
If he stays, he's the man. And here's the thing is I did a little study on ETN's numbers, and he had too many carries, too many touches last year. When he's had too many touches, his performance goes down. And if a fantasy football nerd can figure that out, a good coach in the NFL can figure that out. And I don't think they have a bad coach.
You think they finally got a good one?
I think they do. So I look at this and I say ETN's going to lead this backfield. Tootin is going to be the change of pace, and Bigsby is the kind of guy that if either one of those guys can't do it, Bigsby will come in and do it. So that's kind of how I look at it. And the way I've been drafting this backfield, I took a lot of Tootin as in the rookie drafts in Dynasty, and I'm taking ETN and Tootin combos in most of my drafts. I do have a few Bigsby's out there, but I've been concentrating on the other two.
I understand. I'm in the same boat as you. I think ETN is the guy, and I'm not a Bigsby guy, so I know I might be in the small pool there with that opinion, but I definitely think that between the three, I'm leaning towards ETN and Tootin, and at the price that I'm getting them, I almost never end up with Bigsby because I always end up getting one or two of the other guys. So I'm in the same boat as you. I think that it's going to lean that direction, and I think Bigsby's the odd man out, but I've been wrong before. Scotty, what do you think?
Early in the redraft season, Tootin was going a couple of picks ahead of ETN, and now ETN is going about 2 rounds, 3 rounds ahead of Tootin. Yeah. So that's been what the people are saying.
Scotty, where do you fall?
This is the hardest backfield in the NFL to deal with right now. Yeah. So I'm trying to match the coach with what he did at his last job, and at Liam Combs' last job, he had Rashad White, he had Sean Tucker, and then he had drawing a blank, but what's his name?
Bucky Irving.
Bucky Irving. So he had those three to and I'm trying to put the piece together, like how would this rotation work if he mirrored it to what he did in Tampa. Now, where ETN's price was, like Dennis said a month ago, I was gobbling up all the ETN I could grab. Yeah. It's starting to come up a little bit more, and there's been reports Tootin's looked pretty good. He's been running with some of the ones. Tank Bigsby did have some good flashes last year. So, like I said, this is really, really hard for me. But I'm gonna go with ETN as the lead back. He's got the passing chops. And I agree with Dennis. I think Tootin will spell ETN, and Bigsby will be the goal line guy if they want the tough yards, or maybe a guy they might stick in there if they have the lead and they want to bleed the clock, possibly put Bigsby in. But I don't see ETN. I don't think they want to give him a ton of volume. I think that would be the split.
So real quick then, because I think you're on the same page as all of us, Scotty, so it sounds like we're all in the same boat. Yeah. But real quick, Dennis, if ETN does get moved, Batesville Tootin or Tanks Bigsby, which one's the one?
Tootin all the way, and that's why he's on my top 5 list. Let me explain to you what a top 5 list is. I look for 5 running backs that, if something wonderful happens, they could emerge on a team. And I look at, they have to be 11th round or later. Okay. And I usually like to get 2 or 3 of these on every team. And that big 5 is Tootin, Marks, Brashard Smith, Taj Brooks, and Ray Davis in no particular order. Those are my 5 guys that once they get to the 11th round, I say, screw ADP. And if those guys are available, those are going to be probably my next 3 picks. And the reason I do that is I just go for all upside, because rookie running backs late in the draft, somebody emerges and somebody can be gold in
Bucky Irvin. That's a prime example from last season. I mean, Bucky was almost forgotten running back out of the group that was coming out that year, and then now he's one of the top.
Yeah, Bucky was on almost every one of my teams last year. I was all over him in Dynasty. I was all over him in redraft. I got a ton of Bucky Irving because I did think that he was the man. But I also, like last year, I grabbed them both. And that's why this strategy that's built into my better than zero strategy works so well, is because I don't have to be right to succeed. And I love that because I'm not always right, and I'm easy enough to
last perfect person on this planet got crucified. I don't want to be in that boat.
No, but that's it. Is you grab the guys that could have an impact if something magical happens. Ray Davis, if something were to happen, or he were to get traded, but if something happened to James Cook, he's like a plug and play. He can do a lot of the same things. Tootin could just emerge as the best player on this group. Woody Marks is my guy because he could emerge. But that's how you play fantasy football. And here, Tootin is the guy that is probably the best value on this board.
I agree, 100%.
Rootin' tootin'.
So this is our last one coming up, guys. This was a little different. All right. And this one, we're looking at a backfield that's a little bit more, I would say, ambiguous than the previous backfields, which is shocking, right? So on this one, we decided to call this one a little bit of a different angle. We're going to give this one more of a bonus angle. All right. So on this one, guys, we're looking for the greatest leprechaun out of the three. We've got Jerome Ford. We've got Dylan Sampson. We've got Quinshon Judkins. Which one of these three is going to be bringing gold back to the Cleveland Browns this year? Scotty, you bring it up.
Oh, my God. Okay, so Quinshon Judkins doesn't even have a contract yet. He's totally off my board. I am not drafting any Quinshon Judkins. So to me, it's down to Jerome Ford and Dylan Sampson. And it could even be a mystery guy down the road. No, I'm sure that if they may even bring another back in. Who knows? But I think Ford has earned his chops. I think that the Browns should have gave him more carries last year, involved him more in the offense, because when he was in there, he was very productive. Dylan Sampson's still a rookie, but I liked him coming out of college. He did very well at Tennessee. So I think it's going to be the Jerome will start off as like the lead back. It'd be more of like a 60, I'd say 70-30 split, but don't be surprised if Sampson gets his legs under him, that it's closer to maybe like 60-40 or maybe a 50-50 split.
Dennis, do you have an opinion on between those two guys? I know that Judkins is still such an up in the air scenario, but does that like scare you away from him completely, like Scotty?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm not taking Judkins because I'm not tying up a roster space right now. It would be a different story, folks, if this was Judkins on the Dallas Cowboys or Judkins on another team that had a really outstanding offense. Then I'll take the chance on somebody in this situation. This is, can I swear on this podcast?
You can now.
Say whatever you want.
This offense is horseshit. Okay. And that might be the biggest insult that I have ever given in my life to horseshit. So I just look at the Browns and I'm like, I want to stay away. Okay. I don't like anybody on the Browns at cost right now. I just don't like it.
I agree. I'm in the same boat. I'm avoiding the Browns like crazy right now. Like it's not because like I don't feel like there'll be production there. There's always production on every NFL team to an extent, but
yeah,
I just don't see like enough production going in one specific direction to make it a fantasy viable scenario.
That's right? What I mean. I think they could go through 3 quarterbacks. I think they could go through 3 running backs, and I think 4 different wide receivers could lead them in targets on any given week. Njoku's the only guy with the chops that you say, oh, he should be, and then they got Fan in there, so God knows what they're going to do. If I have a situation where I look at an offense and I don't think they're dynamos, and then I don't think I can predict who's going to emerge, I just stay away. And sometimes, I just let them beat me. In a few leagues where I've gotten behind on running back because I've bulked up elsewhere, I've had to take Jerome Ford, and I've thrown up a little in my mouth when I've done it. But he is the guy that you'd want of this group. But even that, I mean, he's barely a viable flex starter on a bye week situation. So I want to stay away because I don't want ordinary players on my team. And I'm afraid that the Browns could be filled with ordinary players, except for Njoku. He's a special player on a really bad team. And again, I apologize for my language and I apologize for insulting horseshit tonight.
Good.
Hey, what can you do? I mean, sometimes it deserves to be, talked down on.
Yeah. And I will say this though. the Cleveland Browns deserve every bit of what is happening to them.